this present crisis, government is not the solution to our problem. Government is the problem. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so.
Welcome to the Red State Town Hall program. I'm your host, Primo Montoni. My co-host, Ken Brown, will join me here in just a couple of minutes. Please visit the show's website at redstatetownhall.com. While you're there, be sure to like us on both Facebook and Twitter. Wish to contact us, the email address is primo, P-R-E-M-O, at redstatetownhall.com. Our show is broadcasting on Red State Talk Radio, America's premier grassroots conservative internet talk radio network. The show is also syndicated through iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Podomatic, TalkStream Live, Player.fm, Roku, and at least a dozen other websites. You can listen to the station using their Android, iPhone, and BlackBerry apps. Visit the station's website, redstatetalkradio.com, to download the appropriate app for your smartphone. If you don't have a smartphone, you can listen using any phone on the station's 24/7 listener line provided by TalkStream Live by dialing the following. For Studio A, 605-562-4209, and for Studio B, 518-712-0045. When we start the show, let's give a shout-out to our AM and FM and digital affiliates, WDDQ FM 92.1, Adel, Georgia, WSFB 1490 AM, 97.7 FM, Quitman, Georgia, WJNW AM 1650, Herman, Tennessee, Talk Radio AM 1620, KTFL, Gilbert, Arizona, WMQL Radio FM 105.5, Brevard, North Carolina, Coffin County Talk Radio AM 1680, KCTR, Terrell, Texas, Texpro Radio, Gainesville, Georgia, WCNR, Digital Broadcast, West Virginia, and K98Talk.com. Now, let's bring on my co-host from Atlanta, Georgia, Mr. Ken Brown. Ken Ear Candy Brown. Ken, I got to get this straight. Ken Ear Candy Brown. How you doing today, Mr. Brown?
Yeah, now see, people just tuning in for the first time or something have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, if you can get the podcast archive from last week's show, you'll understand. When we go to break, there's a cute little ditty there by Brendy Richards explaining all that. So.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Never get tired of listening to that.
Oh, I'm sure you do. I'm sure you have that. You got that on like a tape recorder underneath your pillow. Is that...
Wait, the pillow? I can carry it with me. It's on my phone.
Oh, it's always it's on your phone, right?
Yeah.
What to do? Well, here's what you need to do.
Here it comes.
You need to set that thing as a ringtone. So every time somebody calls you on your phone, you get to hear Brendy's little...
That's a good idea, Primo.
That's a good idea.
That's a great idea.
Okay. All right, you folks who don't know what we're talking about, again, go back and listen to last week's show. Okay. Let's get started.
It's going to be the Hillary Hour.
Well, a lot of it is going to be about Hillary. That's for sure. We got like 8 stories, and probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those are directly or indirectly related to Hillary. So, but there's a good reason for all this.
Oh, yeah.
First story, though, we're going to talk about this train attack in France, where some jackwagon. Apparently, he was known to authorities, and he has a connection to ISIS, and he essentially had a knife, a handgun, and an AK-47, and was going through the train trying to shoot up people. Unfortunately for this guy, one of the first places he tried to shoot up with, start shooting people with, happened to have 3 American servicemen on the car. There was a guy who was in the Air Force, another guy who was from the Oregon National Guard, and a third one, I don't remember what branch of service he's with, but 3 military people from the United States were there, and they jumped into action, took this guy's ass down. One guy sustained some stab wounds, some slice wounds where this guy was trying to cut him and stuff, and he had to go to the hospital, but he's not life-threatening. But I read several articles on this, and one thing they did, one of the guys grabbed his AK-47 and just started beating the hell out of him with his AK. Just started just giving him the butt end of the rifle just over and over and over again.
You picked the wrong train,
picked the wrong car. And they said that, of course, the guy was blood all over the place, and the blood was primarily from this guy. And they basically beat him until he was unconscious, and which is bravo. They all 3 should get medals if they haven't already. They should get one from France. They should get one from. This originated in what? Somewhere in the was it Norway or Sweden or where was it? I forget where it originated from. But they were heading toward France, I think Paris, and they stopped the train outside of Paris in some other small town, I guess. And that's when they pulled the guy off, and of course they arrested him and took him into custody, and then they got emergency services there because there was a couple of people, 1 or 2 people shot, but the thing was he never got to use his automatic or semi-automatic rifle, the AK-47. He started shooting with his pistol. I guess when he ran out of bullets with his pistol, he was going to that, but that's right when he ran into the Americans and they took his ass out. So that's good.
It's weird, dude. Isn't it kind of crazy? You got an automatic weapon, and you shoot your pistol first. Kind of goofy.
Well, I guess he figures. He probably had 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds, depending on what type of pistol he had. I have no idea what type of pistol he had. So I mean, you bam, 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 they're gone, and then you just basically, I guess, you toss the pistol and grab your rifle, and which. The thing was, apparently, what happened was he went into the bathroom, and when he came out of the bathroom, he was fully armed. So I'm thinking someone put the weapons in the bathroom, hid the weapons in the bathroom, so he could get on board without. But here's the thing: apparently, in that part of the world, they don't really have metal detectors at most stations. I guess they might start doing that now. I don't know, but I'm thinking he probably had some help. Now, maybe not, but I'm thinking he had some help, and somebody hid that stuff on the train. So I would be going through everybody who works on that train or services that train when it's stopped and has to be serviced. I would be checking terrorist links to all those people. I'd be running everybody through the ringer, find out what happened there. So, but congratulations to these guys, and that just goes to show you, if you tried that kind of crap here in this country, I just don't think it would work, and especially. And I've always said this, and I guess I should should ask for advance forgiveness. But you try this stuff in a major American city, especially in the North, where they don't have guns, they don't have whatever. Who knows what you could do? But you are not going to pull that crap in the South. That just stuff is not going to happen because we have concealed carry in most of our states, and of course, we don't really have too many people traveling by train here. We have some mass transit stuff like Atlanta. We have those. I guess they're not really subways, but they're trains. I guess. What do y'all call them down there? It's MARTA, mass transit, whatever it's called.
Yeah, that's the Atlanta train.
It's a train, I guess. Yeah, that's what you call it. Yeah. So
really-
you do have that, but I mean the reality is that now you tell me if I'm wrong because you live in Atlanta, I don't. The majority of people who ride that train are not necessarily. Let's just say they're usually on the lower end of the economic scale. Would you not say for most?
I would say for the daily stuff, yes, but people ride it when they go to ball games and those kind of things. Falcons games and even Braves games.
Because you don't have to fool with parking, you can just get
Yeah.
on the train and go right in. That makes sense, I guess. Okay. Well, I guess what I'm getting at is I don't know what's their policy down there as far as concealed carry on a train. Can you do that?
I don't know. I don't know what MARTA is. That's a good question. I don't know.
You probably never even rode. Have you ever rode MARTA before?
Oh yeah, I've rode MARTA, but that's usually because I'm going. I rode once to go to the airport, thinking it might be a time saver and easier, but it wasn't. It was more time actually.
So it's better just to jump in your truck and go.
It's just for me. It's easier to get in a park, park and fly. Just go to the park and then they transport you over to the terminal.
Right.
But MARTA actually it's a good system.
Okay.
They've kept it out of my county where I'm at. They're concerned about bringing riffraff into our county.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. The only time being a Southern hillbilly, I've only actually been on a actual subway, one time in my life, and that was in Washington D.C. in 2009. We had that big march up there. It had probably a couple million people up there, and where the motel we stayed at had a about 2 blocks away had a subway terminal there. I guess that's what they call it, and we got on that, and in order to go downtown and do the march, that's the only way we could go. We took buses up there, but traffic up there is just ridiculous. So
it is.
They said everybody just get on the subway and get off on this stop and do all this kind of stuff, and that's what we wound up doing. and the thing was, what was funny is because there were so many protesters, and they were mostly Tea Party folks and stuff. So we dominated the subway, but there were people on the subway you could tell were like locals, and they were not real happy we were there. And I don't think they shared our politics. I don't think, for the most part. I just can't. A lot of them had Obama T-shirts on and stuff. And I figured there might be an altercation, but there wasn't. Everybody seemed to be. And the thing was, they were outnumbered, so I think that's why there was no altercation. It was,
strength in numbers.
Strength in numbers, exactly. Okay, let's move on. Bob Woodward, and we all know who Bob Woodward is. At least you should know from the Watergate fame. And I keep asking all the time, whatever happened to all the Bob Woodwards in this world when it comes to journalism? But anyway. Bob Woodward says that Clinton email scandal reminds him of the Nixon tapes, and I'm thinking, well, duh, The only difference is
worse than that.
Yeah, it's worse than that. Yeah, because Nixon, well, I don't know if it's Nixon himself, but there was 18 and a half minutes worth of tape that was deleted, and we're talking 30-something thousand emails deleted at the very least that we know of, and that's what she admits to. Good. I mean, the thing is. Think about this. All the numbers we have in terms of all this email stuff are all based on what Clinton has told us. And her lawyers have told us. We have really no idea. Because it was a private email server, we have no idea how many emails there was total at all. We really don't.
But the story gets, for me and for you, better and better every day.
Oh, I'm telling you, all this week I kept posting stuff because almost every day there was something new about this stuff coming out, and in one of my posts I went drip, drip, drip. It just keeps on coming because
it's more than a drip now. She's putting her holes in the dike. The guy, the kid in Denmark, whatever, he putting the holes, trying to keep the water from coming through the walls. I don't have enough fingers here to stop up water.
Well, that is what's happening. Think about this. Now, we found out this week too. We're going to go through all this, but one of the things we found out this week is that this firm they had that was dealing with this email server was apparently a mom and pop company, and for a long time, this this server was in a loft apartment in Denver, and it was in a bathroom closet is where the server was stored.
Doesn't that make you mad, though? I mean, think about it. You got intelligence information, possible intelligence information.
Well, not possible. I mean,
We know it was classified stuff that was in there, but I'm talking about stuff that puts this country in jeopardy.
Oh, okay.
That kind of stuff. That just ticks me off to no end. That she thinks she can go around and do whatever she wants to freaking do, and while she's doing this, because she thinks she's a Clinton, because I can do what I want to. I'm a Clinton, and I can't get in trouble for it because I'm a Clinton. And while you're doing this, you're putting us in harm's way, this country. And God, that makes me mad that she does that kind of stuff.
Well, here's the thing. First of all, this IT company that they hired has no security clearance whatsoever, from what I can gather.
Well, of course not. It's in a bathroom. There's a server in the bathroom, in the closet.
Well, they did eventually move it to a more upscale when they expanded their business, and the reason they were able to expand their business because they had this contract to do this, and that also goes back to how did they get this contract? How in the world did someone like this even be considered? You know what I'm saying? Like, was this thing put up for bid? If it was put up for bid, why did you give it to a company that was running their stuff out of an apartment? You know, I mean, a loft apartment for that. I mean. All kinds of questions start coming up. And then on top of that, they didn't have security clearance. And here's the thing that I still have not had anybody answer this one yet. It had to be obvious to everybody in the White House what was going on. Why the hell did they not do something about this? Or I mean, and all the other people, think about this, all the other people who were emailing her and all the other departments in government had to know that was not a State Department address. What the hell was everybody doing?
That's a good question.
What the hell was the CIA doing? What the hell was what the hell was going on?
Yeah. That's a good question. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I
think it's real obvious what was going on, but the point is that nobody seems to have gone that far to ask those questions. Now, I know that when you have these classified things, they're in like a special room. You have to like kind of check in. You cannot get this stuff normally. But these people apparently were taking the stuff, putting it on thumb drives or whatever, and then dumping it and then putting it on her server, which of course was available for all the world to see. You know, I don't know if I told you this or not, but I actually ran a encryption test on her server. This is when her server was still up. When this thing first broke, and her server was still up, believe it or not. It was still up at this time. And I ran an online test to check it for security, and it failed in almost every single category.
You did?
I did, myself.
Really?
Yes.
You tell me that.
Well, I guess I forgot to tell you that. But but I actually ran there's a simple test you can go to check the security of an email server. It's online. It's not real difficult. You could probably find it if you Googled it. And when I went and checked it, the security of it, it failed. It passed a couple of basic tests, but there was no SSL. For example, there was no SSL encryption at all. And that's like a big no-no. You gotta have that if you're dealing with, for example, I work with healthcare companies in my IT business, healthcare companies, insurance companies, real estate companies, etc. And because of all this, these new regulations they've got there, where you can't share medical information, you can't share, of course, obviously Social Security numbers and banking information, etc. You have to have encryption on your emails. Because if you attach, let's say, for example, something real simple, like you're attaching a closing statement for a real estate deal. Well, there's stuff inside that real estate contract that should not be public. Okay? So that attachment, and normally it's in a PDF, has to be secured when it's transmitted via email. So you got to have SSL encryption at the very least, and there's other ways of doing it too. But my point is, you just don't send that willy-nilly just with a regular email account. You don't do that. because any hacker who's watching your email account could grab that email in transit and grab the PDF and get all that information out of that. I mean, it's not that hard to do. And so that's what you're supposed to do. And her server did not have the capability of doing even that. So, I mean, what I'm getting at is you wouldn't even want to transmit the closing of a house you're getting ready to buy on her server.
But when she's asked about these things, she plays dumb. Like, I'm just not a technical person.
What was the two things she said this week? One of them was she made a joke about it. Number one, she said she was doing a speech and said she set up a Snapchat account, and she just loved it because it deletes itself automatically. And then everybody thought that was funny. Okay.
No, not everybody.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, maybe the idiots are going to vote for it thought it was funny, but not the rest of us. And the second thing she does when she was having a press conference, and Ed Henry from Fox News kept asking her about, did you wipe the email server? Did you wipe it clean? And she goes, what, like with a cloth? And she thought that was funny.
She's making light of this, and it's not.
Oh,
that's where she's getting herself deeper and deeper in the doo-doo. It's going to come back to haunt her. All these little things she's saying, all those little smart quips are going to come back. And I can't wait, and I hope it happens, that all these little things that we're getting more and more stuff coming out every week. It seems like daily about what happened on her end, and when she gets in front of Trey Gowdy, he'll have so much more to talk about. Please let that happen. Please let her come in for Trey Gowdy. Please. I want to see it.
I'm going to predict something right now.
It'll never happen.
Either it'll never happen or she'll go and she'll take the fifth. She'll be just like Lois Lerner. One of the two. I don't think she's going to sit there and let Trey Gowdy get a hold of her, because Trey Gowdy will eat her up.
Well, if she takes fifth, then she's no longer a candidate. Yeah,
she's done for. Well, she's going to be done for. I've said this last week. She's put a fork in her. She's done. She is not going to be president of the United States. It ain't going to happen.
I told you that's what the guy said.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying. I think like you said, historically, that's just the way it is. I agree with all that. But I'm just saying, I just don't see how the hell she can get out of this. This is just gotten so far deep in the weeds.
Well, it's not just that. I think you've got a Democratic Party that just they're not being very verbal about it. They don't want her. I think the majority are like,
look at the crowds.
Somebody else. I know.
Look at the crowds. There's no enthusiasm for her candidacy.
No. Bernie Sanders? Are you kidding me?
Well, Donald Trump. We're going to talk about Donald Trump in a minute. But
a socialist getting hurt, a socialist getting huge crowds, because I can tell you why. Because they don't want Hillary. They'll be happy with anybody but Hillary.
Well, part of it is they don't want Hillary, and part of this, there's a big part of the Democratic Party that has moved way left to the socialism, communism aspect of things, and. I always heard there's a kind of a cute thing on Facebook. It talks about the difference between a socialist and a communist. Is basically a socialist. They believe the same things. Just the communist really means it. In other words, a communist is willing to put a gun in your head and make you do what you're supposed to do. A socialist does it kind of a little namby-pamby, but a communist, they don't fool around. Okay. All right, we are just about ready. We need to go to break. When we come back, we're going to talk about what about Hillary's aides? Their BlackBerries. What happened to those things? We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the emails have gone now from originally 4 out of 40 and it was 305, and now they're saying it's a lot more. And they've not really even scratched the surface. Going to talk about Donald Trump's rally in Mobile, Alabama, and we're also going to talk about this meeting. Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren are having a powwow this weekend in Washington, D.C. Stick with us. We'll be back in just a few moments.
State Talk Radio, WRS Cleveland.
Hi, this is Jeff Carlisi from the band 38 Special. The mainstream media has failed the American people once again. Internet radio networks like Red State Talk Radio will not fail you. Tune in 24 hours a day. Studios A and B. Great conservative programming around the clock. Red State Talk Radio, the dominant force in Internet conservative talk radio.
Are you tired of commuting to a job that makes someone else rich, working harder than ever, but getting nowhere? Do you hate spending hundreds of dollars every week on daycare, having someone else raise your children? With our opportunities, you can start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss, work from home, and live a happier life. At Be the Boss Network, you'll find hundreds of work-from-home opportunities that you can literally start today and be earning money as soon as next week. Go to freedom36.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You get to be the boss. Get out of the rat race. Work from home. Go to freedom36.com right now and change your life today. That's freedom, the number 36.com. Go to freedom36.com and start earning money as soon as next week. You be the boss. Go to freedom36.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-400-1756 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 800-400-1756 to take your call now. Call 800-400-1756. That's 800-400-1756. Again, 800-400-1756.
If you're diabetic, this message could change your life. Is your blood sugar out of control even when you do all the right stuff? Are you afraid of diabetic blindness and the risk of amputation, as well as all those other side effects? Well, you should be. Is there anything that could help manage your blood sugar? Nobetes is a natural supplement that may quickly and dramatically lower your blood sugar.
My name is Bob Corder. I've been using Nobetes for about 3.5 to 4 months now. And in the first 3 months, I've actually lowered my blood sugars from 500s down to 139, and then it dropped to 88 to 93.
My name is Kirsten. I'm a type 1 diabetic, and while taking Nobetes, my blood sugar levels dropped from 295 to 115 in just 1 day.
The FDA hasn't evaluated these statements, and Nobetes isn't intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. But for many, it's helped drop their blood sugar. So if you've been evaluated with high blood sugar, don't delay. Evaluate Nobetes now. Call 800-554-7159 and get 2 bottles free. Just cover shipping and handling. Call 800-554-7159. That's 800-554-7159.
Hi, this is Primo Mondoni, General Manager for Red State Talk Radio. We've been bringing you the very best in grassroots, common sense conservative talk radio for over 5 years now. One thing I've learned in those 5 years is that internet radio is a tough, competitive business. And if the station is going to advance that next level, it's going to require a significant increase in investments in both personnel and infrastructure. Our listenership grew by 42% in 2014, and with our ever-expanding listener base, it's time that we begin the move to a more listener-supported model to provide the station's future financial needs. Therefore, we're asking our loyal listeners to consider making a donation to help us reach our goals. Monthly subscriptions begin at only $2 per month. So please, help us restore conservative principles to our republic. Visit our website and become a Red State Talk Radio supporter today.
Red State Talk Radio. The Talk Monster.
The path to restoring our republic was laid down by our founding fathers. The principles of freedom, liberty, personal responsibility, and limited government are conservative ideals we will never abandon. America is listening. Grassroots, common sense, conservative talk radio. It's on the internet. Tune in now. Red State Talk Radio, featuring some of the most popular internet talk show hosts in America today. Are you listening? RedStateTalkRadio.com.
Okay, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. Cheryl Mills and Huma Abedin. They're starting to wonder what happened to their BlackBerries, and maybe they should get those things and find out what is on those. And first of all, I can't believe it took them this long to figure that out. I mean, when it comes to government, the government can't do anything efficiently or quickly. That's just not possible, is it?
No,
they never.
They screw it up. There's more. It creates more waste. We throw more money at it, and it gets worse.
Well, you know, if I were, of course, thank God I don't work for the government, but if I were working for the government and I was assigned to handle this whole deal, I mean, I think I would have realized I need to get the devices and emails from these two people, like within the first 5 or 10 minutes after sitting down and thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think it would have taken me months to go, oh, yeah, maybe we should look into that after they've already destroyed the stuff. And they're saying that the reality is, since they left government, that what happens is they had government. Oh, by the way, they had government issued BlackBerries. Hillary Clinton's was not government issued. Now, the difference between a government issued BlackBerry or a mobile device and one that you go out and you buy at the AT&T or Verizon store or whatever, the difference is, Ken, that those things are considered secure. They've been set up, specially set up, and they've got encryption and stuff on them and blah, 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 which is what it should have. Hillary never used a government-issued device. She used her own personal one she'd had for, I guess, God knows how long. So not only was she violating policy in every way, shape, and form, she wasn't even violating on a secure device to start with.
Well, then she said she only had one device.
And we found out she had more.
That's a lie.
Several.
We had pictures of that.
Well, we have pictures, and we actually have her saying when she was doing an interview, and she was talking about she had an iPhone, she had a BlackBerry, she had a iPad, she had this and that, and she was using all those things to communicate her emails on all those devices.
She lied to us, Primo? That's hard to believe.
I know. The world is coming to the end. Hillary lied.
But the point I was making earlier is that this is what you have for a candidate, and if you're voting for her, you got to think, oh, you know what? I don't know. Did you hear the story? This is funny because this was this past week. A lady had died, and she was a Democrat, and she, what was the story? She didn't want people to vote for Hillary. Her last dying wishes: don't vote for Hillary, because she was so upset with her and how she handled Benghazi. And that was her dying wish. Her dying wish was don't vote for Hillary.
Oh, okay. Well,
I mean, that was, on her deathbed, I guess. That's what her husband was saying, that she was a staunch Democrat, but she was so upset with Hillary, that was her dying wish, that people not vote for Hillary.
Well, that'd be my dying wish too, I guess, but I don't think I'd probably get in the newspapers for that one.
But this is the thing you have. You have a candidate that has purposely deleted emails, wiped servers, lied to your face. With Obama, we didn't. You had that after he got elected. This time you got it before you're elected.
Before she even gets in office, she's already elected.
But so I think, are you just an idiot? Are you just a fool to vote for somebody like that? You're voting for a liar, cheater, server destroyer. That's what you want. If you really are a Democrat and you're a Hillary supporter, you can't sit here and go, okay, well, the truth's kind of staring me in the face.
Well, I've actually had people say this to me in the last few months since all this stuff has been going on. They say, "Oh well, all politicians lie," and I go, "Well, yeah, maybe you're right," but I think, do they lie to their own supporters though? I said, for example, I said, Obama lied to all of us about Obamacare and you keep your doctor and all this kind of stuff. I said, but anybody who was a big fan of Obama, most of them, understood he was lying to start with. I said the only people who thought maybe he was telling the truth were people who were giving him the benefit of the doubt and people who maybe didn't even vote for him. I said, of course, then we find out, of course, he did lie, and he knew he was lying and just kept right on lying. Just like with the Benghazi video thing, Hillary and Obama both, for 2 or 3 weeks after they knew immediately it was a terrorist attack, but they sit there and still did this video thing. I mean, you know.
It's a cop-out. You know, when you say that, all politicians lie, I said, no, I'm sorry. That's a cop-out. You're saying that's okay because they're all lie?
Even if they do, and you believe that, then the bottom line is you still, it's like, I've got some people I know that are good people, but they've never voted a day in their life. And they'll sit and complain about stuff, and I'm thinking, of course, if they're a friend, you don't say this, but you're thinking, what the hell are you bitching about? You know, if you've never voted, you don't really have a say in what goes on because you apparently don't care enough to even vote.
Yeah. In fact, if they tell me that, discussion's over. Why am I discussing it with them? I don't.
Yeah. There's no point.
You're just going to go with the flow. Whatever the flow is, you're going to go with it.
Yeah. It's like people go, oh, these taxes are killing me. And then you find out later on they don't even vote. And I'm thinking, well, you haven't done anything to stop the increase in taxes. You know. Just pick your topic, whatever it is, Anyway. A couple things about this email thing, and then we'll kind of move on. Number one, the whole thing about stuff being classified, and of course, Hillary at the start said she never did any classified stuff, no classified emails, whatever. Then she changed it to, I never transmitted any classified emails that were classified at the time, even though the Inspector Generals, both of them said yes, these things were classified at the time they were sent and received. And officially now, someone from the Hillary camp admitted that, yes, there were classified emails sent through her server. But Hillary didn't admit that, but they did that in a press release. And that just happened the last few days. Now here's the interesting part of all this stuff. The Daily Mail, which is a UK paper, has been trying to get hold of the Clinton camp, Clinton lawyers, State Department, everybody, to find out a little bit of information. They compare the dates of when the IT company says they got rid of the stuff, and the dates when the Clinton people say they got rid of the stuff, and blah blah. And they sit there, and the information does not match up. And they know that somewhere in 2013, the IT company said they migrated the emails off the server. Now, Ken, when you migrate something, it means you copy it. It means you move the information, correct?
Right.
That means that there are 2 copies of all this stuff somewhere. On the original server and wherever you migrated it to. Now, whether you migrate... Well, it could be to migrate copy? Migrate could mean that you moved it to another server, or it could mean you moved it to a device, like a external hard drive, even a thumb drive, whatever. Of course, there's so many emails, I'm not sure you can get all that stuff on a thumb drive, but you might, maybe you could, I don't know. But the point is, this newspaper in the UK has been trying to find out the last couple of days, and so far they've not gotten a response from anybody, is, okay, when this stuff was migrated, where's that at?
Well, I've always thought that, emails go to somebody.
Oh yeah, we've
and
talked about that. Oh yeah,
they're also forwarded to other people too. So it's like they can go in multiple directions.
Yeah, but you have to sit there and figure out, well, who do we need to go to, and who's their provider, and most of those people should have being provided by the State Department or the CIA or FBI or whoever it was. They were
not necessarily, because Sidney Blumenthal was getting some of these emails.
Well, yeah, exactly. One of the reasons we found out about all this stuff is when the Benghazi subcommittee got a hold of Sidney Blumenthal, and they had him turn over his emails. He had emails that were to Hillary that were not in the emails that Hillary submitted. Because Hillary said, I submitted 50,000 pages of emails that were work-related. and everything else was just my yoga classes and Chelsea's wedding. Well, apparently she missed a few because Sidney Blumenthal had them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when you knew for sure she was. Of course, we knew she was lying to start with, but that's when you knew for sure she was lying because you actually had copies of it. So
she's not going to last. She can't. There's no way. She just can't. The question is, when does she leave the race? I don't know. You're thinking it's going to be a month from now or so?
I said a month, but for sure sometime during the holidays, and then she would do it like like Thanksgiving, Christmas, when everybody's busy, and to try and get as little attention as possible.
I think it's a matter of time before the nail in the coffin comes, and that's the Benghazi emails.
Well, she's supposed to testify in October, and like I'm telling you,
not going to happen.
It ain't going to happen, or she'll show up and give her and do the fifth.
She's not going to show up. She won't show up.
I think she'll say, "I've been advised by my attorney that I should not cooperate." Probably.
She'll say it's a witch hunt. She'll say it though. They're going after the Clintons because I'm,
vast right wing.
Blah blah blah. Yeah.
Okay, that's pretty much. Anyway, I just think it's interesting that this email server, what if that thing is sitting somewhere, either the information sitting somewhere or another server that was migrated to. What if that thing is sitting there and everything is on that server? Imagine that. Imagine if every single email was archived someplace.
The mother load.
all the yoga stuff, everything. All the Chelsea's wedding stuff, plus a lot of stuff that I'm sure that was wiped, that clean, that weren't included in the stuff. Just like the Sidney Blumenthal stuff.
See, this is the worst thing for Hillary because this is stuff that's not going away, and it's trickle. There's so much out there, and it's trickle.
Drip.
Yeah, bad for her, and it's going to be doing that all the way up to 2016.
Oh yeah, and beyond maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
One thing that was encouraging is a spokesman from the FBI, when they asked them because the server had been wiped clean, they said they had the server now, and they said, "Well, can you be able to get anything off that?" And the FBI said, "Yeah." Basically, they said, "We may not be able to get it all, but we should be able to get most of it," because they probably already looked at it and realized that whoever quote wiped the server didn't do a really thorough job. There are ways, and of course I'm an IT guy and I know some of this stuff. There are ways if you really want to wipe something. There's certain methodologies you have to take, Ken, to really, really, really wipe data off of a hard drive. Mm-hmm. And if these guys didn't know how to do that, if they just did like a routine kind of a thing and did not really cover their tracks, that stuff is still there, believe it or not, and it can be recovered.
Well, I think
and the guys at the FBI are the best in the world at that kind of stuff.
Let's look at the other side of this coin. Do you think Obama will do anything to slow it down?
No, I think him and Valerie Jarrett put this whole thing in motion.
That's what I mean. I mean, if this was Joe Biden, then I think the brakes have been put on a long time ago. But this is Hillary.
If Joe Biden were running, and this whole email scandal was surrounding Joe Biden, probably Obama will do everything in his power to protect him, because Joe Biden has been even though he's a doofus, he's been a loyal vice president for the president for the most part. And so I think he would do whatever he could. I think Obama's policy at this point with Hillary is like, hey, we heard about it on the news. We don't know what the hell's going on.
The only thing that I question is when it comes to Benghazi, were they complicit?
Well, when it comes to Benghazi, that's a whole different story, because he's complicit as she is, or more so.
Yeah, and that's I think the interesting caveat to all this.
Yeah. When it comes to Benghazi, all bets are off. He'll do whatever he has to do to protect himself, and that would pretty much protect her, unless, of course, he just lets the bus run right over her and puts everything on her. Like,
yes, and that's
I told her to handle it. I don't know what the hell she did.
Yeah, and I see that more than that looks to be more realistic.
Yeah, I gotta play golf, and I got a fundraiser next morning. You handle it.
And I remember it was Las Vegas. Remember, he was going to Las Vegas the next day.
Yeah, he went to bed early because he had to had an early flight.
That's right.
So you handle it, Hillary.
Yeah. That's your department.
You're Secretary of State.
Oh yeah, this we create this video crap they came out with.
Okay, let's move on from the email stuff. Speaking of Biden, we talked about Biden just a minute ago. CNN is reporting that Biden is meeting with guess who, Elizabeth Warren, in Washington, D.C. this weekend. Now, I wonder what they're talking about, Ken.
Well, the talk of the Democratic Party is that the rallying person that they can actually get behind is Elizabeth Warren. That's the thought, even though she is much more left-wing than Obama. But they seem to think that she's a threat, or she's the potential out there that people can rally around. They're definitely not rallying around Hillary. So what's Joe doing with her? I don't know.
Well, my theory is that he's afraid that she might jump in the race, and I think he's meeting with her just to find out, like, hey, Elizabeth, we both know Hillary's gone. She's done. So somebody has to jump into this. And he's probably saying, look, I don't think Bernie Sanders can win a national election, even though he's getting pretty big crowds. I just don't think there's no way in the world he can win a national election. He's too far to the left. And he can just say, look, are you thinking about getting in? And if you are, I'll stay out. But if you're not, I'm thinking I need to get in to help save the Democratic Party so that we at least have a chance at winning in 2016. Because if you think about it, Bernie and Elizabeth Warren are both to the left of Hillary. And if Hillary, when Hillary does go down, not if she goes down, when she does go down in flames, if the Democrats have any chance of winning in 2016, they need to get someone who's more so a moderate. And that would be Joe Biden. He's pretty much on the same. If you're going to weigh things, he's pretty much on the same side as Hillary. He's a Democrat, but he's not a socialist commie. He's not gone that far to the left. And Clinton is considered more so a moderate than, even though some of her ideas are to the left, like when it comes to the immigration policy, she's even further left than Obama's dared to be. So, I think that's what's going on there. But I think, to be honest with you, I think that their best chance for them is Elizabeth Warren to run, and the reason is she is to the party's left, and she would pick up some of the Bernie Sanders support and this, that, and the other, and some of Hillary's. But she'd pick up Hillary's a lot because she's just another woman. Because let's face it, there's probably 25-30% of the people who support Hillary who support her only because she's a woman. They want a woman president. So Elizabeth Warren fits that bill. Joe Biden does not. I don't know.
Hillary's, those are few, I think. That's she doesn't have. We talked about this too, earlier shows, that Hillary doesn't have that youthful, that grasp of I'm gonna get the young, I'm gonna get the women, I'm gonna get a rallying theme behind her. You know, Obama had 2008. She doesn't have that.
She's a one-trick pony.
She's the old guard.
Oh yeah.
I mean, and it's just a flip-flop. It's a flip-flop of parties. You've got the Republican Party who's got a woman. They've got Hispanics. You know, they've got Donald Trump. They got blacks. They've got Ben Carson. I mean, you've got a hodgepodge and youthful mix and ethnic mix, and she's the old guard. She's the Clinton. She's with nothing to show for it. She has no
record.
No record of what she's done for the country. Nothing good.
No record of accomplishment. She's got a record, but it's not one of accomplishment. It's one of failure.
Plus, she's lying to you when she comes on, and people know it. It's not like that they're going, I wonder if she's lying. No, they know she's lying because the polls say they don't trust her.
Yeah. Hey, let's talk about Donald Trump. We only got a few minutes left. Trump had a rally in Mobile, Alabama. He was supposed to be at a convention center, and they apparently were not going to be able to handle the crowd, and he moved it to a football stadium for some university in Alabama. I think it was like Southern Alabama University or something like that. It wasn't Alabama's stadium, and it was not Auburn's stadium. It was a smaller school, but it was about a 45,000 seat stadium. Pretty decent sized stadium. Or more than that. Maybe 50,000 seat. I don't remember. But anyway, they expected to have around 40,000 people show up at this rally. Well, they didn't have that. But they probably had 15,000, 20,000 people there, which is, from all accounts, the largest crowd to assemble for any of the primary candidates on either party. That's even bigger than what Bernie Sanders had. And it was on CNN, and I watched part of that, and it was a pretty good crowd. But here's the thing.
Well, they said that, I'm reading the article. They said the crowd was more than 35,000 people.
Well, that could be. I mean, I don't know if anybody ever actually did a count, but maybe that article is correct. I don't know. I just know that when I looked at it visually, right when he first started, it looked about like roughly half the stadium was covered up. So, but there were people on the field and stuff, not just in their seats and things. So, again, the bottom line, it was a big crowd. Now, maybe it wasn't 40,000, but it was a big crowd. But here's what I'm getting at. This whole thing with Donald Trump, I think some people are missing what's going on here. And I think there are a lot of people who don't necessarily agree with Trump on some of his policies and this, that, and the other. It's just they just love the fact that he's so non-politically correct. He just, like the whole thing with Anchor Baby, when some journalist tried to shame him into not using the word Anchor Baby, and he just handed it right back to him.
Yeah, the guy was like, what would you call him? Tell me what you call him. The guy had this long, drawn-out name, and he went, nah, they're Anchor Babies.
No, I'll just use Anchor Babies. Yeah, he came up with some kind of undocumented workers, mothers, blah, blah, blah. It's some kind of big, long, it was some kind of thing and it's like, no.
Well, not when you're getting a question from an idiot reporter, you turn around and go, you're an idiot. That's what politicians don't do. Politicians usually go, I'm going to skirt around the issue, and I won't say anything that'll hurt anybody's feelings. No.
People love his plain spokenness. Even if you don't agree with what the hell he's saying, you love the fact that he's just going, no, that's stupid. We're going to do this, or we're going to do that. And no, we should do this. We shouldn't do that. That's dumb. Why are we doing that for? And,
well, he just calls an idiot that's saying an idiotic question. You say that's an idiotic question. You're an idiot for even asking it. That's what you got to say.
Yeah. How'd you get your job? I mean, I'm just sitting there like, I would have all these little comebacks. I would have about 4 or 5 of them in my head, and I just would boom, 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 boom every time they would do something like that. We're out of time. Golly.
Oh, already?
I know.
The Hillary show's over.
Here's the thing. No matter what Donald Trump does, I don't know if he's going to win the nomination or not, but he may, I'm going to make sure we get this emphasized, he is destroying political correctness all on his own.
Thank God.
Oh, I hope to hell it never raises its ugly head again. Ken, you want to take us out?
If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. Ronald Wilson Reagan, our 40th president of these United States.
That's it. We're finished for today. We'll see you next time. We're out of here. Bye.